Being debt free. It's a goal for many people to be debt free. This is the first year in my adult life that I am debt free. I did a video about it a couple months ago, and I wanted to expand on the subject in this video. Because for many people, like I say, it's a lifetime goal to get out of debt, to pay off their house, to pay off their car, and to not owe anyone anything. And I would say that's a great goal. I would say your first goal should be to create a budget and to get a year's worth of expenses in a savings account, because a fully funded savings account that has a year's worth of expenses is always your best and first step to financial peace, financial solvency. Because when times get tough, your savings account, not your investments, not anything else, but just the savings account, gives you the ability to withdraw funds and pay, whether it's emergency or everyday bills. So a savings account, debt, investments, all the different money talk. What you're trying to do is find a balance or find a place in your life when it comes to money that you have peace and less worry, less money problems. Money is not the answer to everything. However, look, money solves a lot of problems, especially basic problems, as far as the amount of food you can eat, shelter, transportation, a certain quality of life, insurances, health insurance, car insurance, etc. And what I've often shared about being debt-free, does it really matter? I mean, really, when it comes to money, especially in today's modern era, you're just playing with digits on a computer screen. Whatever's in your savings account is basically digits displayed when you log into your savings account. Whatever's in your investment account, same thing, you're looking at digits. When you owe debt, same thing, you're looking at digits. It's not a ball and chain around your neck. Sometimes people use the parable of being in debt is like being in bondage, and it's like a ball and chain around your neck or around your ankle. But that's not actual truth. It's just that you have digits, you have numbers in your mind that are weighing on you because you owe. The only time debt really does matter is if you get in deep enough debt where you can't borrow anymore and you don't have enough liquid cash, savings, or anything else, and your accounts get frozen or your debt's topped out. And the whole purpose of money is to be able to do things, to exchange your money and to have a certain amount of digits that you can do something with. When you run out of digits, or they won't give you any more digits or dollars, whatever currency you're using, you can't do anything. You just have to pay off the digits you owe. So it restricts you. The less money you have, the more debt you have. The freedom comes from a mental and emotional place where you don't have to work extra hard to pay off something that you owe. So the actual part of debt where it matters is you don't have to work a side job on the weekend to pay off debt. You don't have to work a job you hate necessarily to pay off debt. When you're debt free, you're still going to have to work because you'll never be expense free. But you may not have to work a job you necessarily hate, okay? And there's a difference. I did a video about there's a difference between being debt-free and expense-free. You'll never get rid of expenses. What are expenses? Car insurance, health insurance, food, gas, entertainment. Those monthly bills or those monthly costs never go away, even when you're debt-free. I'm debt-free, and I still have a monthly budget where I have to cover my car insurance, gas, food, etc. And certainly just go down the list. Even if you pay off your mortgage, right? You still have property taxes, you still have utility bills, you still have maintenance. You're never expense-free, but you can be debt-free. Debt-free is less digits you have to worry about. So does it matter to be debt-free? To a certain extent, yes, because you have less restrictions on you. You don't have to work as much to pay off so much. So being debt-free relieves you a level emotionally, mentally. You're always going to have money worries, unless you're a multimillionaire and, you always worry about money a little bit. You worry less when you're debt free. You can work less when you're debt free. You still have to work unless you get to a point, which is true financial freedom, when you have some type of an investment or something that brings you money every month where you don't have to necessarily work. Not many people can do that, very few. And what we always learn in society is there's no guaranteed investment. All investments are subject to risk and losing money. Most people lose more money investing than they do living off it. Most people. Same thing with starting a business. Most people lose money and close businesses because they fail rather than making money. At any time, life can change. But when life changes like this and your investment or your business or your job lays you off and you don't have debt and you have an emergency fund, you have peace, you have more options, and you have less restrictions because you have less negative digits, more positive digits. So therefore you have a more positive outlook on life and you're more in control in your life. Does being debt-free matters? Yes, to a certain extent, because you have more control of your life. When you owe, you have less control to a certain extent. I'm not saying all debt is bad. Of course, they say that house debt or a certain amount of debt, proportional, is not bad. I am debt-free for the first time in my life. I'll be 40 years old this year. Would I ever go back in debt? I think about that question. That's a good question. Would I ever go back in debt? Possibly. Well, I sold my house a few years ago that I have for 15 years. I've been living out of my car, paid off all my debt this year. I owe no one, but I still have monthly bills. And that's why I kind of have been frozen. Do I want to buy a tiny house? Do I want to buy an RV? Or I don't know if I ever want to go back in debt. And I wanted to go through several months, if not a year, of being debt-free before I would even consider going back in debt. I don't like the feeling of owing someone. I don't like the application process of someone tearing through your financial history in your life, to see if they're going to give you money so that you can borrow it to pay them back interest rate. I understand they have to do it because I would do the same thing. But it's just a whole process. And I like when you either pay for stuff cash or you don't buy it. I like the fact that, look, there's no process to go through where someone else is, giving you conditions on what they're going to lend you money for. So, if I buy a tiny house, depending on where it would be, and if I would probably have to take on debt. If I bought an RV, unless it was a travel trailer, if I bought a motorhome, I'd probably have to take on debt. And I don't know if I want to take on debt. I do have a level of peace that very few people have. Very few people will be debt-free. I think being debt-free is good. I don't think being debt-free solves all your money problems, but I think it solves a big portion. I think your emergency fund, a year's worth of expenses in a savings account, is your number one way. After you have a budget in place, that's your number one way to go to get peace. But you can let me know in the comments below if you are debt-free, and if you're not, I'm sure it's a goal of yours. And then two is, if you did become debt-free, would you ever go back in debt? I'm scared to go back in debt. I know I'll never go back to living as far above my means as I once did. I know that anytime life can change and, investments or your job, let you get laid off or you lose money. And that's why I always want to have that emergency fund. That's why I always want to work until I could figure out something else, because I like my freedom. I like my independence. Being debt-free gives you more independence. Being debt-free gives you more independence. So if I would get a mortgage or get an RV loan, I would still have independence, but I would have negative digits restricting maybe some of my independence. But I'm not going to say I would never go into debt again. I would probably prefer not to, but I don't know if I would ever say never, So, those are my thoughts. I just wanted to expand on that because I know a lot of people would ask, look, if I ever became debt-free, would I ever go back in debt? I may. But just saying that makes me hesitate because I really don't want to. I'm talking this out because I like freedom. I like independence. And having your financial independence, to a certain extent, being debt-free, having an emergency fund, that's peace. Now, the ultimate financial freedom is you could retire early because you have investments, whether it's a annuity, pension, which most people don't have anymore, 401k, which is subject to the stock market's ups and downs, or a business, which anytime a business can fail. Like as I make this, we're in the middle of coronavirus. You could have had a restaurant that was making 6 figures last month, and now that restaurant gets zero revenue. You may go bankrupt. So life can change like this. And, that's the other reason, do you want to just, have a bunch of savings but never buy? You definitely want to have a year's worth of expenses in a savings account. But after that, you don't want to just try to hoard cash to a certain extent, because then it's like, at any time life can change and you're not enjoying life. Money is meant to be enjoyed. However, when times get tough, if you don't have money, there's not much enjoying certain things because you have restrictions on what you can buy, where you can go, and what you can't. Because if you take on too much debt, they'll freeze your debt. And if you don't have money, you can't do things. So debt allows you to move. Money allows you to move. Debt freezes you up if you get too much. That's kind of like the gist of what I wanted to share. I like to talk on a specific topic sometimes to get myself thinking enough that I have to verbally express it, to stir up your juices, to think about certain subjects, to refine your life and your goals and put some direction in your life. It's said through a scripture that people die from a lack of knowledge and also from a lack of vision, for not having a vision. Wherever there's no vision, the people perish. So once and a vision is kind of like direction in life, you know what I mean? And that's kind of talking things out. Therapy is talking things out. So I prefer not to go in debt again, but I prefer not to. Let me know what you think. Thank you for watching. If you're not a subscriber, I appreciate you. If you do subscribe, it's for free. Click that thumbs up. Check out my playlists and my Patreon. Leave a question or comment below. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace and love.